as well, and as you can see now, they're all still involved with City in some capacity or other. They're all either doing punditry or actually attending games or doing social events and stuff, and the love for this club never fades.
Yeah, I mean, tonight alone, I've seen Paul Lake, I've seen Dennis Stewart, Gerard Vikins, Jeff Whitley. There is a connection. Even players who've actually only played maybe a small percentage of their careers with City, there is always a connection. Well, why is that?
I think historically City's got a reputation of being a family club, a family-type club, and I think they try to keep the ex-players, like you say, even though it may have had only bit parts in the past, they try to keep the ex-players, you know, connected with the club in some capacity or other. And you only have to see on a match day how many ex-players do hospitality and stuff like that. And I know Paul Dickoff's got a lot more involved with the club this season. You know, he's been to America and China and Thailand and other places doing ambassadorial roles and coaching and stuff like that. So it's great to keep the ex-players involved and they're relishing their involvement with the club.
I mean, it's bizarre to think, I mean, you just alluded to it, it's bizarre to think that 19 years ago this week, Manchester City were preparing for the playoffs to get out of the third tier of football.
Remember it well.
Yeah. You were part of that with Joe Royle and Willie Donachie,
what a day
weren't you?
that was at Wembley, the Gillingham game, staggering.
Get it into perspective though, I mean, that's 19 years. That in football terms, that's not a lot of time to go from a team trying to get out of the third tier of the professional game to winning the third title in 7 seasons.
It's staggering, isn't it? Absolutely. It's obviously the financial investment was a massive help, but that was a very key moment in time. I mean, if we hadn't won that game at Wembley against Gillingham and made it, got that promotion, which enabled us to carry on and obviously got promotion again the season afterwards back into the Premier League. That was a major point. Is it 19 years ago? 19
years ago this week, yeah. Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
Well, I am.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that really, I mean, you've just alluded to it there. Nights like this are a night to say thank you to Sheikh Mansour as well. I mean, the club were doing okay. They were a Premier League team, but they could never have imagined 7 trophies in 7 years before Sheikh Mansour.
Staggering. Everything's in place now, isn't it? They've got the best manager in the world, the best coach in the world, best man manager in the world. He's got his own staff in. He's got the players that he's wanted in. They're playing to the system. They fit into his system perfectly. It's just the ideal condition for a player. Every one of those players, I mean, you'll see tonight on the parade, every one of those players will be laughing, they'll be enjoying themselves. This is a fantastic night for them. Brilliant for the fans. There's Brandon there with the champagne. It was a great night for the staff as well. The staff will be relishing every minute of this. It's just a fantastic night for the whole club and everybody involved with the club. Players, staff, fans. Amazing.
Well, they're just making their way now on the first part of the route at the top end of Deansgate. They're just at the very, very top of Deansgate, where there's Marks and Spencer's and 1 or 2 other shops at that side of Manchester, if you know the city at all. And the route was already packed when we got there about 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's now around about 20 past 6, and you can see there's every single vantage point has been taken. Absolutely it was, and that's what it's about. You know, you start with a dream and then it becomes a reality.
Yeah, I mean, that's good that he can remember that past and appreciate what he's actually achieved now, because I mean, it'd be a bit sad if people didn't really appreciate what this actual moment means, not just to them, to the families, the friends, the fans of this brilliant football club, everybody connected with Manchester City. I mean, it's a remarkable achievement. The way they've done it is second to none. Nobody has ever played this kind of football consistently throughout the season, dominated virtually every game. You know, there's very few teams been able to combat us. No team has been able to combat us for 90 minutes. 1 or 2 teams have had brief spells, but apart from that, it's just been the most dominant season of any team in the division, in the Premier League division ever.
Well, I'll go into more detail in a minute, but I'm just going to run through the records. I mentioned there were 14 of them. The records that they've broken this campaign: consecutive Premier League wins, which I'll go into more detail, most passes in a Premier League game, I'll come to in a minute, most goals scored, most victories, most points, most away wins, most away points, biggest ever goal difference, largest points ahead of the team finishing second, most opponents beaten in a season, most possession in an individual football match, the least amount of time trailed in an entire football season, and one of those that I particularly like, the youngest ever recipient of a Premier League medal, and we'll come to that in a minute, and they equalled one, which was the games left to play when a title was achieved. And I'll go into all the details of those as we go through the next hour or so. But that is an astonishing list of records, isn't it?
And you asked me the question, is this the best Premiership team that there's ever been? Then those stats prove that you'd have to say that they are. I mean, people say, oh no, they won't until they win the Champions League, until they win the Premier League consistently year after year after year after year. Nobody has matched what they've done this season. Not just like all those records that you've said, but the way that they've played the game. Absolutely phenomenal. The pleasure and excitement that they brought to the Premier League this season is second to none.
Let's start with one of those records, the most points, which of course they didn't clinch until the 94th minute of the 38th game of the season yesterday, with that wonderful goal by Gabriel Jesus. 100 points, the previous record was 95, so they'd already beaten that. But Pep was saying one of the motivations for the final 2 or 3 games of the campaign was this magical 100 figure. And obviously the way that goal was celebrated yesterday, you'd have been forgiven for thinking that it was the Aguero moment against QPR all those years ago.
Yeah, well, that just shows the type of man that he is. There's a carrot at the end. They've won the league with like so many games to spare. You know, miles clear at the top of the league. Far too many points for anybody to catch them, but the motivation to reach those different targets, you know, the 100 points and the most goals, and this is the way he motivates players, and he keeps them, you know, they've won the league with so many games to go. It's difficult. Well, it's obviously not too difficult for him because he knows exactly what he's doing, but to keep the players motivated and in the right frame of mind to go out for the next game and perform to the best of your ability and work your socks off for 90 minutes, and that's been a major thing too this season, the way that the team have helped each other, the unselfishness in the team, the work rate, it's just been phenomenal. Just a perfect team.
Just to put some more flesh on the bones, Chelsea were the record holders in 2004-05. They got 95 points. Now, a lot of people will be saying, well, there was a long era, well, up until about 25, 30 years ago, where you only got 2 points for a win. Even equating, if you made those 2 points for a win 3 points for a win and just kind of adopted the points totals, even putting that into the yesteryear to all those 75, 80 seasons prior to 3 points for a win, nobody would ever have got 100 points prior to this season. Wow. So even comparing it to the 125, 130 years of Football League winners, they're still the first team to get 100 points.
There's your answer. Phenomenal. So when people ask the question, you think this is the best team? Well, look at the stats.
And actually, one thing, I don't know if many people have spotted this, one thing that was particularly incentive for Pep as an individual was that he personally had never managed a team that had got 100 points. Now, he was in charge of a Barcelona team that had a 38-game season and a Bayern Munich team that had a 34-game season. So it's going to be a bit tricky for Bayern Munich, of course. Barcelona got 99 points in 2009-10. So for him, personally, he wanted 100 points as well.
Big target for him, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, he's ambitious like everybody else, and he won't be satisfied with just, he'll be disappointed in not winning the Champions League, disappointed in not winning the FA Cup. Tragic how he went out to those competitions, especially the Champions League, but that's another thing. But yeah, he'll be aiming for the top targets every season and will not allow any complacency. And if he needs a team strengthening, he will strengthen it in certain positions, and he will refresh the squad. He will not be stagnant. He will not stand still. He will keep going for more and more records, more and more achievements, more and more targets.
We just saw Ederson there on the City bus holding the Premier League trophy, and he's just extended his stay.
Yes,
seven more years of Ederson. That sounds quite good to me.
Incredible, isn't it? 7 years. What a signing he's been.
Let's be honest about it. This is absolutely no disrespect at all to Claudio Bravo, but there was a sense that the goalkeeper became such a prominent feature of what Pep Guardiola wanted to do, with the ball playing, the distribution, and one thing and another. And as good as Claudio Bravo is at doing that, Ederson's taken it to a different level, hasn't he?
Yeah, he could play midfield, couldn't he? I think he could be an outfield player.
He used to be.
What age?
I think up until about the
9,
mid-teens.
Right.
Up until about the mid-teens, he was. I think he was a striker. He was certainly an outfield player who was converted into a goalkeeper. Now, obviously, his size helps, but that distribution
is key for Pep. It's key.
Absolutely.
Goalkeeper has to have those feet, has to have that confidence in possession of the ball, has to have that ability as a defender would have in possession of the ball. As a goalkeeper, there's not many other coaches or managers that would enter their heads, but for Pep it's absolutely vital, and he's probably signed the goalkeeper with the best feet in the world.
It's good scouting, isn't it?
Fantastic.
Because it's one thing signing a goalkeeper, but actually you've sent your scout with the brief. We don't just want someone who can shop stop, because that's almost the gimme. We want someone who can be part of almost an extra centre-half, who wants to be able to distribute left and right, comfortable getting the ball with an attacker coming at him, and Ederson's ticked all the boxes.
I can remember a player saying to me earlier on at the beginning of this season, I'll not tell you who it was, but he said to me that he thought that if Pep could play David Silva in goals, he would do. That's the type of player he wants for a goalkeeper. I mean, not only has he signed a player in that ilk, he's also signed a goalkeeper who's brave, can stop shots, launches the ball further than anybody else on the planet. So he's got the all-round package in this guy.
Amazing scouting, because, I mean, he wasn't sort of a headline act, so to speak. I mean, he was at a top high-profile club.
He's not number one for Brazil, is he?
No, he's not. He's behind Alisson, the Roma goalkeeper. So, again, in a way, it was a punt. I mean, a lot of signings are. I remember speaking to a lot of managers down the years, and very successful managers have always said, every signing you make is a gamble. You don't know if they're going to work. But Ederson was almost the final sort of cornerstone of what Pep wanted to do, wasn't he? Yeah.
I think the system that he wanted and the way he wants to play, the wing backs in Kyle Walker and Mendy. Unfortunately, Mendy got injured, and Delph has been absolutely brilliant in that position. So he's got the wing backs, he's got the centre backs, and he's got the main man Fernandinho in front of the centre backs as defensive cover. For me, Fernandinho is his number one pick. So he has got the players that he wanted, in the position that he wants, in the system that he wants to play, and everything has just slotted perfectly into place.
And it's an interesting thing. I mean, we talk about the number of goals they scored, 106, but let's not forget they had the best defensive record in the Premier League, just 27 goals conceded. And you're looking at a team who had 18 clean sheets as well. So, it's not as if the other side of the game has been forgotten, has it?
No, and that's a surprise and a new stat for us this season compared to previous seasons. There's always been question marks about the defensive capabilities of the team in the past, but now with just those stats that you've just given out then are just, it proves that there's not quite as good defending as they are going forward, but they're still very, very good.
I'll give you some more stats. I'm sorry to bang on about them, but that they're enjoying the moment because these astonishing stats. But this is a team who won 50 points at home and 50 points away. Yeah. I mean, that takes some doing, doesn't it?
Incredible. When you look at some of the performances away from home, are phenomenal against so-called top teams. Arsenal, Tottenham, and for me the most staggering one of all, away at Chelsea, last year's Premier League winners, went to Chelsea this season, absolutely annihilated them. Only won 1-0, but it was just the most phenomenal performance. Chelsea hardly got in our half at all. And then, of course, we saw the emergence of another incredible superstar with a fantastic goal, only 1-0, and he scored it, Kevin De Bruyne. But what a spell he was having at that time. What a player.
Well, there is Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, you know, his individual statistics absolutely amazing. It's a funny thing to think that Kevin De Bruyne is part of a midfield that has the most gifted midfielder we've ever seen in David Silva alongside him. Fernandinho just alluded to his first pick on
Bernardo
the team
Silva.
sheet. Bernardo Silva, who couldn't really get in because there was... Well, Yaya barely got a look in this season, didn't he? I mean, obviously we'll be talking about Yaya. This will be his last experience as a Manchester City player, and what an experience for him to have as well. But Kevin De Bruyne, really, I mean...
Phenomenal.
What a season.
Exceptional.
What a season. I mean, I've heard people talking about pass of the season against Stoke City.
It
probably wasn't it?
Yeah, could well have been. Could well have been. Phenomenal vision, great attitude, 2 great feet, fantastic football brain, full package. Amazing engines. There's nothing he hasn't got.
And as well as goals, of course, City had the most individual assists in the Premier League as well. That's not a record going back through history, but this particular season, 4 players had double figures assists this season. Wow. 16 for Kevin De Bruyne, 15 for Leroy Sané, 11 for David Silva, and 11 for Raheem Sterling. The top 4 assists in the Premier League were all this Manchester City team.
Incredible. Absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? I mean, what else could you say about this team? They just broke every record there is to be broken. They're incredibly exciting to watch. We've never seen the like of this before. And look at the team spirit now. You can see how much they're enjoying themselves.
Well, there's the Brazilian contingent. Look, Gabriel Jesus.
Well, they're party animals, the Brazilian lads, the samba and all that business. And
Edison and Fernandinho with the...
But it's great to like the fans to see this kind of behaviour as well. You know, like the players like letting go and enjoying themselves and enjoying the interaction with the fans. You know, this is not a serious moment where they're going for 3 points and they've got opposition to beat. They're purely and simply there to enjoy themselves and interact with the fans and enjoy the moment with them.
I bet whoever's selling bright blue wigs is having a field day this evening. Just looking through on the bus there, a little quick brief shot we had there of Alexander Zinchenko. He's not been afraid to blood young players this season, has he, Pep?
No. Exciting prospect, and I think the other lads who've been involved recently, and Metcher, Adrabayo, Cameron Diaz and Foden, massive futures. I just hope that they get a chance to break through into the team. It's very difficult for a kid to get in the team and establish themselves in this team because the squad is so incredibly strong, and you know they've signed world-class players. So for a kid to get through into this team and establish himself on a permanent basis, he's going to have to be very, very, very exceptional. But I think those especially have got a great chance next season of breaking into the team. Let's hope they can do and establish themselves and be fantastic for the future of Manchester City.
I mean, it was a lovely gesture actually, because Pep was made aware that Brahim Diaz and Phil Foden needed to get 5 games, and they've both been involved in the last few moments of the season to get those medals. And I mentioned one of the records before. One of the records is that Manchester City now have the recipient of the youngest ever player to receive a Premier League medal in Phil Foden, who is 2 weeks shy of his 18th birthday. And what an amazing 12 months he's had. Of course, the
How
FIFA...
must he feel?
Well, the FIFA Under-17 World Cup kicked it off, of course.
Absolutely.
Where he won the Golden Ball award as he was the leader of that particular team as England won the World Cup, and then he wins the BBC Young Sports Personality of the Year award in December. Now in May he picks up a local lad from Stockport. He picks up the recipient as the youngest ever Premier League winner. And I always remember, maybe you will too, I remember the summer tour last year that Manchester City embarked on. They played United. I think it might have been the very first game that they played, and Phil Foden in America. Phil Foden played that day, and at the end of it, Pep Guardiola, who doesn't normally single people out, said, "This is a special, special talent," and he wasn't wrong.
Well, that's enough for me then. It must be. Pep says so. Especially, like you say, he's not over-enthusiastic about a lot of youngsters. But if he said that, then he'd look at Mendy. He's puddled, isn't he? Yeah, he's certainly got an incredible future ahead of him forward. And like you said, the last 12 months have just been remarkable in anybody's career. Never mind a lad who's 17. It's just phenomenal.
And actually, you can hear the fans chanting Yaya Toure. In the last couple of years, Yaya Toure has been working and talking, and he's been a great influence on people like Phil Foden.
Mellowed incredibly in the last couple of years, Yaya. I mean, the number of games he's played this season, he wouldn't have been here. 3 or 4 years ago, he wouldn't have stood for anything like that. But he's mellowed, he's understood the situation at the club. He's been happy to be that, like, coming in when necessary. He's been happy to help other players, encourage other players. Always been in and around the first team squad in some capacity or other, and he's just been an absolute ambassador for the club. And you can see what you saw in the last game that he played, the love and the warmth that the rest of the players had towards him. And he's just, as I say, he's just mellowed. He's just gone into a brilliant human being. He's great, not just on the pitch, but off it as well.
Do you think Yaya could do a job for a Premier League club next season?
Every chance. Yeah, I think he's probably. I mean, he's obviously coming to the end of his career. I mean, I don't know how old is he? Could be 53. I don't know how old he is, but he's certainly 45. No, he's not 40. 35. Is he 35? Is he? Yeah, I mean, he's certainly got years left in him yet. He's got that, and he's retained that enthusiasm for the game, which when you're getting into your mid-30s, late 30s, if you have that same enthusiasm and motivation for the game, then you've every chance of continuing to play. And I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he'll want to remain at this kind of level, whether it's in England or, well, only time will tell. You know, I'll be interested to see what does happen to him, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was another Premier League club next season.
Well, the bus is making its way down the main thoroughfare, Deansgate, and everywhere they go there are people hanging off floodlights and traffic lights and anything they can find just to get a good view of the team. And they're probably getting showered in champagne most of the way through.
Well, I think they've consumed more of it than they've thrown out, actually. And judging by the reaction of some of the players, and I see the kit lads are Mike Little, Ali Marland and Brandon Ashton, and they're on the actually, look at Mendy, no shirt. They're on the same coach as the players, which is great, because they're all heavily involved with them as well. So it's just all round great to see, isn't it? Staff, players, intermingling with the fans, and such a special night. Look at that little
goodness, absolutely.
Marvellous.
Just quickly talking about Benjamin Mendy, we saw him a moment ago. For a player who obviously was struck down by injury very early into his career, he actually played 7 matches this season. I don't think a player's ever had as great an impact in his first season for the amount of game time that he actually had.
Just shows you what kind of personality he is, doesn't it? Phenomenal personality, has been vital in that dressing room this season. Like you said, he's played 7 games, and what an important ingredient in that dressing room. Brings everybody together, laughing and joking, and doesn't allow cliques and stuff. And Mario Balotelli was like wild and mad and everything, but he's wild and mad. But a brilliant lad, well liked, loved by all the other players and everything. As I say, he's such a genuine guy. Only 7 games, and like you say, what a massive influence, not on just the players, but the results. Even the results are not even playing.
And of course, he was the one there without his top on at the front of the bus.
Well,
there.
Does that surprise? I'm surprised he's not driving the bus.
There'll be many images that will stay with City fans around the world. But for me, one of the images of the season was after Raheem Sterling scored that goal against Southampton, to see a man who'd had a major knee surgery, a cruciate operation, just a few weeks previously, to run down. All right. On the crutches, off the crutches thrown into the air, to run down that line to celebrate that goal. It just showed how much he was feeling part of the setup.
Absolutely. The physios were pulling the hair out at the time.
I bet.
Because anything could have happened, he could have done it again. But yeah, it just shows you the togetherness that there is in the squad. And as I said before, he is a vital member of that squad, although he's only played 7 games. He's been a major influence on this team. And the City fans, of course.
I think he was the guy that coined the phrase "the Shark Team." I think him on social media. Absolutely. I think that was his Twitter, responsibility, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's him. So he's been responsible for a lot of stuff. Major influence, major influence. 7 games. I didn't realise he'd only played 7 games.
Yeah, four starts and 3 substitutions.
There'll be very few players in the past and in history who plays 7 games in a championship-winning team that have. And he's certainly got the right people. I mean, Delph's done phenomenally. He's been brilliant. And Zinchenko when he's come in, you know. But yeah, that's. I know what you're saying. It is a great compliment to a lad to say that in the instances that you've just mentioned about the 2 strikers and stuff. You know, the influence of Mendy. It's just shows you how highly rated he is.
Well, maybe that's a clue to what we might see next season, because on the assumption, all being well, that Mendy actually stays fit, so he's got the athleticism and the attacking threat down the left of Mendy going up and down the left side. Obviously he's got it with Walker bombing up and down the right. That might be an indication to not a major change, but a slight tweak in the way that City may approach it next season.
Possibly, and I feel sure he'll make 1 or 2 or 3 major signings as well. He'll refresh the squad. He won't just stay stagnant. He'll want to progress and strengthen, and if he feels that certain players that can come in and do a job for the squad, for the team, for next season, then there's no doubt he'll strengthen.
Well, as they make their way now to Albert Square, which has often been the start and finish point over the years for many a homecoming for a variety of different reasons. The players now making their way just across the front of Albert Square, and actually probably worth mentioning, a couple of players absent today. David Silva is with his ailing son, and that's understandable. He's not with the team today.
He is on the mend though, Matteo.
Great news.
Yes, he's out of intensive care and in a normal ward now, so fingers crossed everything's going to be fine.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. I didn't know what the situation was. I mean, the thing with David Silva and Pep this season is that if you've ever understood how a manager has a bond with players, and, you know, has a feeling for players, that the way that Pep handled that whole period, allowing him as much time as he needed to be away, understanding that perspective is what it's all about, that football is secondary. The way that all occurred, almost in a weird way, seemed to take David Silva to a different level, because when he was playing, it was like a release of all the emotion, and his statistics this season unbelievable as a consequence, maybe. Yeah,
but brilliant man management, intelligent, common sense. In fact, he was unaware of the problem that David Silva had with the infant initially, and I think it was a member of staff who informed him, and as soon as he found out about him, then he did, as you said, understanding, allowed him time off, insisted that he had time off because that was his priority in his life, and get that right. And yeah, I mean, for a manager to have that kind of understanding and that flexibility and common sense, it just sums the man up in another light as well.
Absolutely, and looking at David Silva, I mean, he weighed in with 9 Premier League goals this season. I mean, people used to say one of the most gifted players we've ever seen, if only he could return a few goals on top of that. Well, there's 9.
Yeah, incredible play, unbelievable pleasure and exciting to watch. Fantastic football brain, great touch, great feet, great passer, and has 9 goals. That's not too bad. 48 million assists. He's just phenomenal, isn't he?
Absolutely. I mean, I've gone on record as saying he's the most gifted player I've ever seen in the Premier League.
Yeah, I would have to go along with that.
For me, I could just pay to watch David Silva. And sometimes you find yourself during a City match just watching him, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's quite easy to take for granted what he does. I mean, he's such a special player that we just expect his every move and his every touch to be perfection, and 99.9 times out of 100 it is. And I think he probably goes under the radar a little bit. You probably say that virtually every City fan, if you asked who was the best player that they'd ever seen in Manchester City over the history of Manchester City, majority, I would presume, would say David Silva.
Quite possibly.
But they expect that of him every week, you see. So, like, you know, I think sometimes he goes under the radar a bit, and people don't give him the credit that he really should get, because he is phenomenal.
Well, he got 10 goals in total, 9 in the Premier League. He was third in the assists with 11 assists, which means he's far and away the most prolific assists, you know, of the last 8 years since he's been involved. And of course, he was one of 5 Manchester City players who were in the PFA Team of the Year. The 5 were Aguero, KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, Walker and Otamendi, and David Silva. So, you know, half the outfield.
That makes a change, doesn't it?
Well, half the outfield team were voted by the fellow pros as being the best in that particular position. And David Silva, one of them.
Yeah, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's great to see that not just David but the other players have been appreciated by the peers and the media. Have had no choice really, but to like start complimenting these players and stating publicly how phenomenal they are and how incredible they've been this season.
Well, you're enjoying, I'm sure, the pictures of the team.
Mendy.
There's Mendy again. And Kyle Walker with his own little blue smoke flare.
I thought Mendy had a
Yaya
barbecue
Toure
on
with a blow-up shark there in the background. These are the scenes as the record-breaking Centurions make their way through the centre of Manchester. They're on a 1.5 kilometre tour of the city that will culminate on a stage at the corner of Quay Street and Deansgate in the centre of Manchester, where there's a huge presence all the way down the centre of the city. Deansgate, the main thoroughfare, splits the city in half really, and the 3 buses are making their way through there.
Those players will never forget this day for the rest of their lives.
Well, look how many selfies they're clearly taking and videos on their phone. I mean, it'll mean to them as much as anything they've ever experienced in the past.
Yeah. Incredible. Let's just hope that, I mean, it's great that they really appreciate and really having a good time, because it'd be sad if you did this every year and won the Champions League like every season. These kind of celebrations would be a bit tempered, wouldn't they? You wouldn't have the same excitement and the same thrill. But to do this now in this era, this group of players it just shows you what phenomenal team spirit they've got. It's an exceptional night for them, and of course the fans.
We'll just score a quick glimpse of Leroy Sané, who won the PFA Young Player of the Year, and he was also nominated for the PFA Player of the Year itself, along with Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva. So the players certainly know, the professional players certainly know who've made the contributions this campaign. And let's talk about Vincent Kompany briefly, because there was a fear that these injuries were catching up with him, that you know, how many games would he play? Well, he ended up playing 17 games this season. That's in the Premier League. He played in other competitions as well. Do you think he's learning how to sort of manage these problems now? I
think him and the rest of the staff are learning how to manage his problems, you know, because he's got scar tissue on his calves mainly, and which can't be operated on, so he has to be treated with kid gloves. It's remarkable that he's played so many games consecutively this season, because I personally, I didn't think that he could play so many games on the trot, like midweek weekend. They've done it on certain occasions, but not to a massive extent this season. So they've probably learnt now how to physically cope with his injuries and the stretches and stuff that he needs to do. But he's a phenomenal asset for the team, brilliant captain, brilliant leader, so much stature about him, great leadership. I mean, he's just a class player, and he does make a massive difference when he plays. And
it was fitting, wasn't it, that he scored one of the key goals in the Carabao Cup final, because that day, you know, whilst everyone expected them to win a trophy this season, there was a significance with Pep Guardiola's first trophy, and that Vincent Kompany could contribute with the goal on the way to that first trophy was fitting.
And you could see what it meant to him. I mean, and the goal against United, I mean, it's every minute that he plays now, he relishes, because he knows of his injury history and his background with the injuries, and he knows there's a possibility at any moment that, you know, he could break down at a certain instant. But every minute he gets on that football pitch he relishes, and that's a great attitude to have. He's retained that phenomenal enthusiasm for the game, and I mean, you can see what it means to him when he does play, and the togetherness of all the players is just a sight to behold.
Well, you can see some of the photographs that I'm sure are going to be appearing on Manchester City souvenirs that are going to be made. They
might be appearing on a little more different magazines and journals. Brandon, the kit lad's got anything to do. I think he's just about got his pants on at the minute. But they'll be having some fun, that's the main thing, and really enjoying themselves. The fans, I mean, the fans will see the players in a different light. They'll have never seen the players behaving like this. You know, everything's like 90 minutes of total seriousness and like phenomenal football and effort, and look at now, they're just laughing, enjoying themselves, and they're like normal human beings like everybody else, and that's what they are. That's what they are. And people tend to forget, like, you know, they are human beings like everybody else.
Well, just looking at where they are geographically, they're not a million miles away now from their final stopping point, the stage on which they're all going to appear and do some interviews. They've just made their way past the Central Library in Manchester and the famous old Midland Hotel that is just on the corner there, and they're now heading down towards the corner of Deansgate and Quay Street, where the vast majority of the Manchester City fans have congregated in front of a huge stage, and they're about to get to that point. I notice Edison's now decided that Mendy's right by getting the shirt off and displaying their physique, but they're just being greeted by a chorus of Blue Moon from the City fans. You probably can hear that in the background.
Hope they don't drop the cup.
Well, they knocked the cup off, didn't they, when they were presented with it against Huddersfield Town. That particular clip went viral around the world, didn't it?
That was funny. Brilliant.
They're making their way very, very close now to embarking from the buses and going onto the stage, where we'll be bringing you some interviews with all the players as there is the stage that you just got a quick brief glimpse of, and I reckon they're around about a couple of 100 metres away from the point at which the buses will stop, and they'll make their way onto the stage, and hopefully we'll hear from every single one of them. I mentioned there was a couple of absentees. David Silva, one of them, we've explained that situation, and Sergio Aguero, who's rehabilitating obviously after his injury, because he wants to be part of that World Cup squad, and indeed the World Cup squad's announcements are starting to take place in the next few weeks as well.
Yeah, I think even Vinny, I think, is hoping to, you know, be in that Belgian squad and have one more World Cup under his belt. And Centurions there, they must feel like Centurions, I think, with all these accolades and there's cheering and singing going on, and let's hope they're capable of making a speech when they get to the stage.
Well, let's hope so. Let's just quickly run through those records in detail just before the players get onto the stage. 18 consecutive Premier League wins, that's a record. Previous record was 13, held by Chelsea. And it began with Raheem Sterling's winner at Bournemouth on August the 26th, and it ended on New Year's Eve against Crystal Palace when City drew 0-0. They won 18 Premier League games in a row. They beat the record set by Chelsea in 2016-17 in a single season, and they also beat Arsenal's 14-game run, which was split over 2 seasons, the back end of one and the beginning of another. So that was one record that they shattered this year. 902 passes in a Premier League game. That was a record that they beat, and actually they briefly held the record at 843 in a previous match, and then they got 902 against Chelsea at home in March, which was a new Premier League record. So that in itself is another record. The 106 goals, well, that was surpassed in the Brighton game. The previous record was 103, again set by Chelsea in 2009-2010. Actually, they didn't break the all-time record because Spurs, with 111 goals in the early 60s, was the one that they couldn't quite reach. But in terms of the Premier League era, that was the record. Most wins, 32 in a season. Previous again held by Chelsea. They won 30, and City have surpassed past that. We've mentioned the 100 points, which even equating it to the era when 2 points converted to 3, they won that one. The most away wins, 16 in a season. The previous record was 15. They've got that one. Most away points, 50. The previous record was 48. The goal difference, plus 79. The previous was plus 71. Points ahead of second, 19. The previous was 18. I could go on and on.
United's record?
That was United. A lot of them, a number of them were United record. Most opponents beaten in a season, City. Most possession, well, this is an astonishing stat. Almost 83% possession in a match.
I was just waiting for that one. I was surprised you hadn't mentioned that before, because that is phenomenal. Every game that we've watched this season, it's been like 80-20 and 70-30, the worst.
Well, they got 82.1% against Everton in March, and everyone thought that is unbelievable. And then, believe me, we were doing the records again. They broke it in April against Swansea when they got 82.95% possession.
My God.
I mean, you can only imagine how tiring it is for an opponent against Manchester City. And this is the one that I just think is extraordinary. They were only behind for 153 minutes throughout the entire season. In total, they were behind in a match for 153 minutes, shattering all records that have ever been set in the past. Now that's across 38 games, from August to May. They were only trailing for 153 minutes in total.
And then people ask, is this the best Premiership side there's ever been? Well, you would have to say yes, really, wouldn't it? Forget all the records and the stats.
That
just watch them play.
Proof. That surely is proof. I mean, history will tell us whether they're going to be winning back-to-back titles, and we'll see. But in terms of a one-off, and let's be honest about it, Chappie, let's go back to last sort of July, August. When people were asked who's going to win the Premier League title this season, nobody was completely sure, because Chelsea had just won it. They spent. United had spent big.
Liverpool.
Spurs had spent. Liverpool had spent. Arsenal are always there and thereabouts. Nobody was quite sure. Everton even weighed in with quite a big spending in July and August.
147 million.
Nobody was sure who was, is it going to be City? Is it going to be United? Nobody was completely sure. So bearing in mind how open people thought this title race was going to be, the fact that they've blown everybody away, they were 30 points better than Chelsea, the previous champions. That's the gap, 100 to Chelsea in fifth, 30 points to the previous title winners. All evidence to suggest this is the greatest side we've ever seen. And
I think nobody had any doubt by the end of January who was going to win it anyway. I mean, it has been an incredible season. And brilliant for a Manchester City fan to witness those performances, to witness the quality of individual players, but more so the team collectively, how they've played together, the flowing passing, the possession, the chances created, the goals that they've scored, some phenomenal goals, De Bruyne, Sané, I mean, just incredible finishing.
Just talking about goals, I mean, these days people are measuring everything these days. They actually scored the goal with the most number of passes in the Premier League. It was a goal by Fabian Delph against Crystal Palace in September. There was 31 passes. Crystal Palace touched the ball 31 passes later. Manchester City scored through Fabian Delph in the game.
It was up and back, wasn't it? And across to the other flank, and it was just
31 passes. And they beat the previous record, which was 29 passes, which was their own record, when Sergio Aguero scored against Bournemouth in December. So the most number 31 passes, Fabian Delph. The second highest, 29 passes, Sergio Aguero. So the number of times that they've scored, in a way, a marvellous moment, when someone scores a volley or a spectacular goal. But a team goal is reflected in that, isn't it?
That just sums the season up for me, the togetherness of the team. It has been the team, and not just the players on the pitch, the squad, the management, the staff. Everybody has worked together as a fantastic team. Great team ethic, great work rate, very, very unselfish. It's just, what more can you say? It's just been a phenomenal season. Here they come.
Well, they've left the buses now, and they're going to...
staggering.
Well, Vinny is flying, I think.
Vinny will be sensible. He's bright
The
guy.
players have made their way off the buses. The buses have now parked up, and they're now making their way to that stage that I was describing to you. One by one, they're coming through a little passage in between a throng of Manchester City supporters. Thousands and thousands just flocked around the stage, and within a few minutes we'll be hearing from each and every one of them who will be talking to us on the stage. Stay with us for what is about to occur, because you're going to hear from them all, including Pep Guardiola, who has left it all to his players. A lot of managers kind of get hold of the microphone on the days that Premier League titles are given out and so on, but he always likes to sit in the background and allow his players to enjoy the moment. Well, tonight we're going to hear from Pep, so Pep is going to give his thoughts and say what he feels about this phenomenal achievement.
There's a few look worse for wear out there, especially the staff. Have you just seen the kit lads there? I think they're struggling to get to make the journey to the stage.
Well, I think the staff know they're not going to be interviewed, so
thank God for that.
They're all right. Actually, something that the Premier League need to worry about is that City's average age, 26 years, 319 days, is the 6th youngest average age in the Premier League, and that is a thing I think the others have got to worry about. This is a team for the future as well as a team for now.
Especially when you see those kids on the fringe, you know, the Fordens, Cameron Diaz.
You keep saying Cameron. I've got to correct you there. Cameron's the film star.
Sorry.
Brahim.
That's what I've got going on in my head. And the other lads, Adebayo and Mencha. Have I missed anybody out?
Well, I'm just looking at the ones who've been involved this season. Zinchenko's only a young guy. Tosin Adebayo. Yeah. Tom Delibashiro was part of the squad that took part in the Carabao Cup. Looking up there, I mean, you've got people like Nemecha, you alluded to. Phil Foden, Duaney was part of the squad in the Leicester City match earlier this season. Brahim Diaz, Cameron Diaz played a part as well, didn't she?
And then, of course, Sané, young, Raheem Sterling, young, correct. Mendy, young, Bernardo Silva, youngster. I mean, what a squad it's going to be for the next. How old's Edison?
Well, he's early to 21. Yeah.
What a squad for like the next 10 years.
I think in an interview last season, Pep said that he needed to bring the average age down of the squad. He needed to, you know, with the greatest respect to Bakary Sagna and Alexander Kolarov and people like that, he needed to bring the average age of the team, the squad down, because that was what he felt was the difference between winning the title and not. And he's been proven right.
Well, absolutely. And he, not only has he signed young players with potential, he's signed young players who have phenomenal qualities now. And with his man management skills and his tactical and his coaching skills, he has improved every one of those this season. So they're reaching a level now which is quite scary.
Yeah, I remember there was an open day that was open to citizens and members of Manchester City and so on at the start of the season in August, just prior to the start of the campaign at the CFA, and you could watch the team train, and you know they were going through a few drills and whatever. Even then, Pep was taking players to one side and working with them and talk. I'm talking senior pros as well as the youngsters, and saying to them, you could see, you know, do this, do that, work on that, have a think about that. He is very much, you know, there's a lot of managers down the years who are kind of figurehead managers, which is fair enough, and then they'll get maybe an assistant or a coach to actually get out on the park, on the training ground and work on individual drills. Pep Guardiola is clearly a both. He's clearly a figurehead and he wants to be out there.
Great man manager, great tactician, great coach. He has a meeting with the players every morning in the theatre room, goes through everything they're going to do in training. And as you say, he gets out there, he's pulling individuals on one side, whatever age they are, coaching them, helping them, encouraging them. Everything is incredibly positive. And as I said before, he's improved every player in that squad. Some beyond all recognition.
Absolutely. We just heard the music in the background of Blossoms, who were entertaining the fans who are all gathered waiting for the players to emerge. I think maybe Blossoms have got one more track before we see the players emerge onto that stage that you are looking at. And if you want to watch the Blossoms, there is an individual feed of their music on mancity.com. I think we've got 3 different feeds on the go. You've got the main coverage, and you've got a couple of individual cameras as well if you want to watch from, I think the helicopter's one of them, so you get a bird's eye view, a helicopter view of these incredible scenes that we're witnessing as the city has gone Manchester City blue, and shortly they're going to go crazy as well as the players bring the Carabao Cup and the Premier League trophy on, and we hear from them as individuals. I remember just before Pep Guardiola joined Manchester City, almost 2 years ago, of course, now around about 20 months ago, I heard an interview with Philipp Lahm, the great Bayern Munich player and arguably one of the greatest players ever to have played the game. And he was literally in tears on the final day that Pep Guardiola was in charge of Bayern Munich, because he was moved. He was upset that Pep was leaving. And he said, and this is, remember, a guy who's won everything, Champions League, World Cup, individual honours, one of the greats of the game. He said he'd never been more improved. This is a guy in his 30, 33, 34, 35. He'd never been improved more by any individual coach he'd ever worked with than Pep. And when he first worked with Pep, he was 31. You didn't think there was anything he could learn. You know, he's got all the T-shirts, he's got all the medals, and he said that he improved him as an individual. That tells you something.
What an attraction that is for a player like Manchester City. There's some speculation about they want to sign you. Say it's another club in Europe and Manchester City want to sign you. How excited would a player be to realise that dream, to be coached and managed by somebody who is second to none at their job, like brilliant man manager, brilliant coach, bringing the best out of you as an individual player, and it's exciting. I mean, what an exciting prospect, and players to be playing at Manchester City Football Club now under this manager at this present regime at this particular moment in time are incredibly fortunate individuals, and I hope they relish every second that they are at this football club.
And of course it strengthens Manchester City's hand when they go into the transfer market.
Absolutely,
in the next few weeks, because I know a lot of teams are going to want to do their business before the World Cup starts. That's probably going to be a priority. The World Cup starts in the middle of June. We're in the middle of May. It's roughly a month. There's going to be a lot of teams vying for the best players out there, but Manchester City are going to have Pep Guardiola, and they're going to know from speaking to their international colleagues and hearing what Philipp Lahm said and one, two others, that not only are they going to be joining a club who are going to win things, but they're going to improve their own individual assets as part of the package.
What an attraction that is, isn't it? Coming to the best team in the best league in the world with the best coach.
With the best fans.
With the best fans, let's not forget the fans. With the best fans, everything about the club geared to success. Making each individual, as an individual, very, very successful, obviously within the team setup and everything. But, I mean, can you imagine how each of those players feel on that stage when they come on that stage and they've got fans cheering the name, and it's just... It's Christmas Day every day, isn't it? It's just phenomenal.
I think Pep said in an interview a couple of weeks back that he's not going to be too busy this summer. Maybe only a couple.
Doesn't need to be.
No, maybe only a couple. To me, the word tweak rather than surgery springs to mind.
Absolutely, yeah. Now he's got the basis of what the players that he wanted, the system that he wanted, and the players that fit into that system. It is a matter of tweaking. It's a matter of refreshing. Because when you sign a player or two players, it refreshes the whole squad. It gives that extra enthusiasm to the rest of the squad.
Well, I think we're going to join the proceedings on the stage in a few moments' time. You've probably got a sight of Mike Wedderburn, the Sky Sports presenter and big City fan as well, who will be leading the proceedings on the Manchester City stage. The champions, the Centurions, are about to be introduced to the crowds, and myself and Chappie will take a short breather, and we will hand over to the goings-on on the stage.
Apparently, the manager's here, apparently. Pep's going to tell us how he did it. He's going to tell us if he's going to do it again next season. And then the season after that. And then the Champions League. And then all four in one season. We're going to find out just how they are, how they're preparing for the World Cup. Yeah, Yaya's here. I love Yaya. I'm going to miss Yaya. What a player he's been, but what a team we have got. So, while the players prepare, I need to ask you a question. Now, when I was growing up, there was a programme on the telly. Roy Castle presented it, a children's TV show. Do you know what it was called? Record Breakers. Manchester City are record breakers!
That's a beautiful pass. Ball Sterling into the middle, slotted home. This City side just can't stop scoring. There's a good ball in, and Gabriel Jesus. Bernardo Silva. And it's saved. Sterling drills that one in. He's got another winner. Aguero plays it to the feet of David Silva, who scores. Going. Still on it. Runs again. Kevin De Bruyne puts the ball across, and it's headed in by Gabriel Jesus. Smashes it into the net. Kevin De Bruyne lashes at the ball. They clear and fired it. Nico Otamendi. Kevin De Bruyne lines up a shot and scores. The new outright top goal scorer in Manchester City history. It's Sergio Aguero. This is Sterling. Sterling to Gundogan. Great turn from him and a great goal. And Vincent Kompany with the header. Aguero. Aguero keeps on going. It's still Sergio Aguero. Oh! Here's David Silva. Raheem Sterling.
Now then, City's present is glorious, obviously. That's why we're here. The future looks magnificent. And the past, that was pretty good too. So I want you to give it up for two legends of this club who are going to bring out our two trophies this season, the Carabao Cup and the Premier League title. Let's hear it for Tony Book and Colin Bell. Tony and Colin! Thanks, boys. Ladies, well done, boys. Thanks, Cole. Take care. Now, we're going to bring the players out in just a moment. First, though, we're going to bring out the first team coaching staff. Give them all a massive cheer. They are Dome Torrent, Mikel Arteta, Rodolfo Borrell, Brian Kidd, Lauren Buenaventura, Xabi Mancisidor, Richard Wright, Carlos Blanchard, and wait, we've got Guardiola! Pep, I think they like you.
I feel that. Good.
Now, when this season began, in your wildest dreams, did you think you'd finish with 100 points in the Premier League?
Yeah, sure. Easy. No way, no way. But we are here. We did it.
You absolutely did do it. How important are these guys behind you have been for you?
Massive. So it's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of job to do. Alone you cannot do that. We have the best one. So I'm delighted. So they are top.
You have broken a gazillion records. How do you top that next season?
Now it's time to enjoy it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to speak the next season. This summer is just, believe me, we are going to see the World Cup in the sofa, good beer, good red wine, and enjoying the season. So, and when we start, we will come back. We will come back stronger than this season.
That's allowed. How special is this squad of yours?
I think Chiki, Ferran, Sheikh Mansour, Khaldoon provide us an outstanding player. So to achieve what we have done without the quality of the players, it's absolutely impossible. So we are here just to help them, but the quality of they have, like human beings, like players, is outstanding. That's why we did what we have done.
Now, yesterday you said, I hope the fans turn out for the parade. You happy?
A lot. Thank you for coming, guys. Thank you so much. We are delighted to share what we have done together. So thank you so much to being here. And next season we will see us again. I don't know where, but we will see us again.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pep Guardiola and his staff, give it up. Thank you, boys. They want to stay. Keep an eye on the players. Right then. Let's bring the boys out. Let's see who's first. Oh, no, he's going. Pep wanted to stay, but he's going. But he'll be back, don't you worry. Right then, let's bring the players out. Who's up first? Now, according to my script, I've got, for you, John Stones and Kyle Walker. That's not John and Kyle. Now then, John, I want to start with you. You two came here to win trophies. There they are. How good is that?
It's a dream come true, honestly. Absolute dream come true. All I'm going to say is 1, 2, 3. City! City! City! City!
Kyle, we've got to sort out a debate. Who is quicker, you, Sane, or Sterling?
Leroy! No, definitely me.
Definitely you. Okay. How good is this turnout?
Oh. I've imagined it, but you can't imagine to see how many people's turned up to come and see us. So thank you, everyone, for turning up today. Thank you so much.
John Stones, Kyle Walker. Right then, let's see who's next. I think we've got Nicholas Otamendi and Danilo. Now, Carlos is going to help with the translation here. Now, the General, I've got to talk to you. More passes than any other player in the Premier League. Over 3,000 from our central defender. Does that mean you had a hand in every goal that we scored?
Es algo único, algo que siempre recordaré porque es un gol especial, un gol que a nuestro eterno rival, y la verdad que muy feliz porque Manchester es azul.
Very happy for obviously contribute to the team with the goals as well. I always remember the goal scored in Old Trafford. It was very special, of course. And obviously the unforgettable season we have here in Manchester.
Danilo, when you came, you said it was about the players and the coach and winning things. How's that turning out?
Hi guys. The reason why I signed for Man City was to win titles, no? So I'm so proud for this season because we did it. We win almost every game. No, we won a lot of things. So I'm so happy to be part of this team, to be part of this city. And come on, City!
Now, Nico, we all remember you scoring the winner at Old Trafford. How good was that?
algo hermoso, como dije, y que siempre recordaré, porque una vez más lo digo, Manchester es blue, blue, blue. Yeah!
Well, obviously it was a great moment, and I'm gonna say it again, unforgettable moment, unforgettable season. I will always remember Manchester because Manchester is blue!
Ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Otamendi and Danilo! Thanks, boys. Let's see who's next. By the way, you enjoying this? Coming up next, Aymeric Laporte and Claudio Bravo! Claudio, I'm going to start with you. What a campaign in the Carabao Cup. You are our hero. What stood out for you in that cup run?
Creo que no lo es así, creo que es algo en conjunto, algo de todo el grupo. Creo que nos cuesta mucho ganar títulos, ganar torneos. Y es lo magnífico, creo que lo que pasa hoy, gracias a todo el mundo, no solamente a los jugadores, sino que a todos ustedes. Thank you for your support. It's amazing day por todos nosotros, así que muchas gracias por apoyarnos.
I would say it's not just me, it was a team effort, teamwork. That's why we managed to win not only the Carabao Cup, also the Premier League. It's all in behind, and it's amazing to live this with you guys here tonight. And just for you, thank you for all your support. It's been great, and it's team effort, just for everyone.
Now, Aymeric, not the worst 6 months the players had. 2 trophies. Now, we've asked our fans to get involved and ask questions on Twitter. This from Steph Penment, who says, what's your favourite place in Manchester? No doubt Steph will be there when you turn up.
La verdad que estoy muy contento de estar aquí, de poder disfrutar de este ambiente ahora. También es verdad que he venido a mitad de temporada y creo que el trabajo ya estaba muy avanzado. He podido completar los últimos partidos y estoy muy contento de estar aquí con vosotros festejando estas victorias que hemos hecho.
Okay, we don't have a place, but I'm gonna say what Aymeric said is I'm very happy to be with you guys this evening and enjoying this evening with you, all the fans. It's true that I arrived at the middle of the season, but part of the job was already done because of this amazing team is behind, so I just have to contribute and enjoy what was an amazing end of the season.
Ladies and gentlemen, Claudio Bravo and Aymeric Laporte. Oh, hang on, he wants a selfie. Everybody, ready? 1, 2, 3, now! Nice one. Thanks, boys. Right then, we've got some of the youth of the first team squad. Coming up, you got to give it up for Daniel Grimshaw, Adam Mušić, and Tosun Adarabioyo. Guys, what's it like being part of this Manchester City first team squad?
Yeah, it's a great experience for the young players to be with great players. We can look up to them and we can learn a lot from them.
How about you?
It's great. Yeah, it's very great, and I'm proud of them. Come on, City!
Yeah, I think it's special being with such great players and learning from them every day. So it's a great experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the future of Manchester City. Thank you, boys. Now then, a couple of players can't be here with us tonight. So, one of them, Sergio Aguero, he's in Argentina getting his knee done. He sends you his love. And another one is the little Spanish maestro, David Silva. David has sent us this message.
Hi everyone, I want to apologize for not being able to celebrate with you the title today. Also say thank to the fan, my teammates, staff, club, especially to the manager for understanding my situation. You are a top human being. I will be in debt with you forever, so thank you very much. And finally, I want to say something to Yaya. I told you the other day it was a pleasure to play with you, my friend. I can say to my son, I play with the best African footballer ever. So I wish you the best of luck. Finally, I want to say everyone enjoy tonight. You deserve it. My teammate, I want to say I want to wish the best of luck for the World Cup. I see you there. And the rest of the people, enjoy tonight and see you next season.
There he is, David Silva and baby Silva doing well. Now, just coming up a few years, some more youngsters from our fabulous season. They are Brahim Diaz, Lucas Nemecha and Phil Foden. Lucas, I'm going to start with you. Carabao Cup, penalty in the shootout. Talk us through how you were feeling.
Bit nervous. It was a big game, but I just zoned it out and put it away.
And you nailed it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Brahim, yesterday, on you came. How have you enjoyed this season?
It was amazing, yeah, for all of us. We win two titles. We learn a lot from every one of and single one of the players. Also, thank you to the staff and for these amazing fans because you deserve everything. Come on, City!
Phil, how good has your season been?
It's been an amazing year for me, you know, a dream come true. But I'd like to thank all the fans for the support this year and all the staff. Thank you.
Some more of our future. Boys, thank you very much. There's more. Next, Bernardo Silva and Alexander Zinchenko. I've been told by the management to keep Alexander away from the trophy. Step away from the trophy. Let's start with you then, Alex. What is it like playing for a manager who believes in youth?
Of course, it's very important for all players, especially for young. When your manager believes in you, you feel a lot of confidence on the pitch, you know.
And you played brilliantly. Bernardo, you too. 35 games in the Premier League you played. What is it like to be such an integral part of the team?
Well, obviously it means a lot. Personally, it was my first season here at Man City, and it was amazing to be part of this team. Everyone, all the players, all the staff, all the fans. So it was fantastic. Thank you all.
We have another question on Twitter for you. It's from Abix, who says, you've got to pick out your special moment. What was it?
Special moment. Obviously, lifting the title. Even though I was in pajamas at home, it was fantastic to celebrate the title, and that day was fantastic. Yeah.
You got out of the pajamas and got in the pub with Vincent, we noticed. Ladies and gentlemen, Alexander Zinchenko and Bernardo Silva. Well done. He's coming, don't worry. You'll like this though. Coming up next, Leroy Sané and İlkay Gündoğan. Leroy, let's start with you. The young player of the season. How important, or what does it feel like to be recognized by your fellow players?
Yeah, I'm really happy about it, and like also really honored that I can just say, like, without like just me, I couldn't achieve it. It's all the stuff. The players who I play with, they helped me a lot, and like, yeah, I'm just really happy to be with the team.
And of course, there's a World Cup coming up. The season you've had, are you going into that full of confidence?
Yes, of course. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to the World Cup. I hope I can be one of the guys who's in the squad. And like, I want to show that I can play there also good. And like, I'm really excited.
Now, İlkay, most passes in a single game, which set a Premier League record. What's it like to be in the centre of things for this great club?
To be honest, it's not something that I'm really proud of, about all these passes. It's more about having all these great guys around you, the great players, great managing staff, great backroom staff, and compared to all these passes, that is, I think, much more worth and enjoying football for this beautiful club.
Do you think this Manchester City side could beat the Germany national side?
It's possible.
Do you think City would beat them on penalties?
If we are shooting, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for İlkay Gündoğan and Leroy Sané. Right, who's next? It is Gabriel Jesus, Fernandinho, and Ederson. Let's start with you, Fernandinho. Was that your best season in the City shirt?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely, yes. For sure. The way we played the whole season, how many goals we score, and for me it was amazing season, amazing year. And I'm so proud of these guys, my teammates. They helped me a lot, scoring goals. And I had an easy job, can I say that?
Ederson, I've wanted to ask you this all season. Do you prefer the ball in your hands or at your feet?
Nos pés.
His feet. Now they tell me you're in the Guinness Book of Records for the longest drop kick of over 75 meters. Is that right? Foi normal. Normal?
It's a normal record. It's like another day in the office for me.
Gabriel, tell us, what was it like scoring that last-minute goal yesterday?
Bom, é claro que todos acham que quem faz o gol que é o importante, mas não, foi um gol da equipe que jogou o jogo todo para cima, tentando quebrar a defesa, e acabei recebendo um belo passe do Kevin e pude fazer o gol.
Yeah, everyone thinks the fault of the goal is for me, but I think it's a team effort, and that's why we try until the end, we push until the end. The ball gets to me thanks to an amazing pass from Kevin De Bruyne, and it was me who scored the goal, but it was all the team effort.
We love you guys. Give it up for Edison, Gabriel Jesus, and Fernandinho! Are you ready? Coming up next, Yaya Toure and Benjamin Mendy. Okay, we're going to start with Benjamin. Benjamin, so good to see you back fit. Knees good? What's the Shark team going to do for us next year?
For next year, we hope win the league one more time. And the big test is for the Champions League.
Do you ever stop smiling?
I what?
Do you ever stop smiling?
This 4 days before, I don't smile.
Yaya.
Yes.
We love you, Yaya. We're going to miss you. Lovely send-off by the club for you the other day. Do you have any last words for this lot?
Thank you.
No, it's nice to see it, and yeah, I think for the fans, I don't know what to say, you know. They've been so brilliant all this long period, you know. It's the first time I've been seeing such a long time in one club, you know. And I think because of them, I'm where I'm at now, you know. What I can say, I'm going to miss them. Miss my teammates, miss the club, and miss my fans as well, you know. And they make me emotional, you know. It's so crazy. But I think, thank you. I think I want to say to them, thank you. Thank you. Why? Because, you know, for what they've done for my family and for me, you know, it was so brilliant. I think, to be honest, I'm going to miss them, you know. And yeah, maybe soon I'll be back. But I don't know.
I think we want to say thank you to Yaya. Oh, hang on.
The last time. Yeah, Touré, Colo, Touré,
Ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Mendy and Yaya Touré. What a player Yaya Touré is. Right, next, are you ready? Coming up, Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, and Fabian Delph. Kevin, let's start with you. What a season, and now voted City's Player of the Year. Does it get any better?
Well, I can just say thank you to you, because you vote for me. Raheem Sterling, he's top of the league.
Now, we've had a question in on social media, all the way from Melbourne for you, from Durga, who says, what would you do for a living if you weren't a footballer?
Nothing, I play football. I'm here, this is my town now. This is what we do.
Fabian, new role for you this season. Looked like you've been playing it all your life. Was it an easy transition?
Yeah, I mean, it's always easy when you play with fantastic players like we've got here, so they helped me out as well as the management team and all the backroom staff, so I've enjoyed it, and champions!
Raheem, 23 goals this season, fantastic. Pick us a favourite.
Most definitely the goal against Southampton. It was amazing to come at that time, so yeah, that goal. Top of the league, Raheem Sterling, he's top of the league.
Now, I've got a question for the two Englishmen up here, Raheem and Fabian. World Cup coming up, Fabian, I beg your pardon. Get that right, Fabian. World Cup coming up. How are you going to stop this bloke?
He's got to stop us, so what about him?
Don't kick him. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin De Bruyne, Raheem Sterling, Fabian Delph. Right. Who's left? Oh, yeah. Let's bring out the skipper, Vincent Kompany! Vincent. Now, Vincent, you're making a habit of this. The third Premier League title in only 7 years. For the first time, it didn't go down to a nail-biting final day. Did that feel weird?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's brilliant. It's amazing. We're here again. Fans have turned out in numbers. This team is wonderful behind me, and you know we've been able to win it with 4 weeks to go. It's been amazing. Thank you.
What's it like captaining such a talented group of young players?
It's easy, you know. these guys are hungry. They want to win trophies. They want to come up and train hard. And, you know, every now and then I have to be the grumpy dad. But other than that, you know, just it's easy.
Now, history tells us that retaining a Premier League title is pretty difficult. How do you plan on doing it?
I don't know. Pre-season, we come back in, we work, we try and make this team better, we try and make this club better every single time. We come back in and we try and improve. That's what's going to happen from July onwards.
You heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our skipper, Vincent Kompany! Don't worry, they'll be back. Well, it's been a record-breaking, fantastic season. So much of it is down to the atmosphere that we all created in that magnificent stadium. Thank you for being as loyal as ever.
The best laid plans, born from the collieries of the East. We look back with pride as we build bridges, always expanding as we invest in the future, a future that will yield for many years to come. The faithful continue to arrive in their hundreds and thousands, week in, week out. Families and friends, old and new, spiralling up to the gods. This is the place where mothers and fathers bond with sons, daughters, sisters and brothers, all with the desire to say, I was there. I witnessed greatness.
This is shaping up to be a vintage season.
The time is now. This is the canvas, and our palette is blue and white. Artists from all over the world flock here for inspiration to ply their trade. The masters, the apprentices, some of our very own coming through the ranks. Not forgetting our commissioner, he who has made this chapter possible. Young blood runs through this side. We don't work with broad brushstrokes. Our detail is intricate. Our movement timed with precision. They said it wouldn't work. Yet time and time and time again, we proved them wrong. Season-defining moments, standing tall together. Records fall one by one. We change our style for no one. Stick to our plan.
This city side just can't stop scoring.
Attack in defence, defend in attack. We play out from the back. We alter perception, drawing shapes and lines that move and flow across the canvas, painting pretty pictures across the pitch. We are so happy.
So happy. You are so happy.
It's simple. We are the best team in the land and all the world.
Do you want the players back? You've got to do better than that. Do you want the players back? Okay. Give it up, one by one. First, Claudio Bravo. Kyle Walker. Danilo. John Stones. Raheem Sterling. He's had to go, but give it up still for Ilkay Gundogan. Aymeric Laporte. Kevin De Bruyne. Fabian Delph. Leroy Sané. Bernardo Silva. Captain of the Shark team, Benjamin Mendy. Tosin Adarabio. Fernandinho. The General, Nicholas Otamendi. Edison. Daniel Grimshaw. The man who took us to 100 points, Gabriel Jesus. Alexander Zinchenko. Give it up one last time for Yaya Toure. Lucas Demecha. Ado Munich. Brahim Diaz. And the skipper and the trophy lifter, Vincent Kompany.
So the players just embarking on a little improv to end the proceedings here in City Centre, Manchester, as the Centurions, the record-breaking Centurions, enjoy the final moments of this unbelievable season. And Chappie alongside me, I have to say that the adulation, the amount of superlatives, the number of records, everything that's been said and everything that they've achieved, you have to say that moments like this are the ones that basically tell the players how much their efforts have been appreciated.
Yeah, they've had a great time, haven't they? They've really enjoyed it, and everybody out there had a phenomenal time. They've remembered for a long time. They'll always remember this. I can't believe it's been like another 2 or 3 months before we see them again. But yeah, they'll be missed. But all the best to them in each individual with the World Cup teams. But what a night to remember this, not just for those lads, but for every fan out there watching that, witnessing this absolute joyous celebration. What a great achievement and what a night.
It's funny to think that they're all going to go off to their separate countries. There's even going to be a few players playing against each other during the Summer World Cup. But do you have a hunch, Chappie, that we might be doing this 12 months from now, and maybe there might even be a bigger trophy on parade?
Well, I'd like to think it's only a matter of time before, we get that Champions League, and I'm sure this will be a regular event. I feel confident and sure that we are going to be regular winners of the Premier League over the foreseeable future. Could be a long future, but certainly for the foreseeable future with this present squad, this present management team, the whole setup, the fans, the club itself, its structure, everything is geared for success, and long may it continue.
Well, we hope that you've enjoyed our coverage of the Centurions on parade round the city centre. All four corners of the globe have been able to watch every single kick of the ball that we've brought to you this season, all the goals, all the moments, and culminating in this parade of the champions tonight. From all of us at Manchester City, we hope you've enjoyed the coverage. I know you've enjoyed the season. Enjoy your summer.